Hello everybody and welcome to our today's pop-up session. I'm Daniela and here with me are Jens and Julian, and as you can see we are in a very special location. So this is the foyer of the PROBATGO, in other words the new production site of Probatwerke. And if you're interested to see more of that cool location, you're more than welcome to come here and join us for the Connecting Markets, which will take place in September. But this shall not be the topic of today's session. As you can see, we are here to launch our all new product, the new P01. And to do so, we will start with a short video of the campaign. So please enjoy.
The idea behind the very first edition is that coffee roasting is art for us, and that's why we decided to transfer this idea directly onto the roasters and onto the hoods of the new P01.
It is really emotional. We are working with emotional product, it's coffee, so this emotion you can also find in this machine.
So when Probat approached me with this idea to paint 9 roasters, it opened up for me the rare opportunity and pleasure to remove myself from a screen and once again work with my hands.
We already had a lot of projects together with David. That's why we said, okay, David, you can start directly. We will assemble the hoods and then we will send them to you to Texas.
There was a lot to consider when conceptualizing the designs. First, I considered the spaces these roasters will occupy. Undoubtedly, cupping labs. My hope is to bring a pop of color and life to these spaces. Second, I consider specialty coffee culture. How to design something that reflects and celebrates coffee culture, coffee spaces, the process of brewing coffee, and the art and color that permeates it. Third, and finally, I consider the people that will be using these roasters. My hope is to bring inspiration and a touch of artistry as they also work with their hands, roasting and cupping, searching for the right coffee.
This is really like a life cycle of coffee because all of the design ideas are connected with the coffee world.
I imagine many of these people will be involved in sourcing green coffee. For this reason, many of these designs are centered on coffee cultivation, harvesting, and processing. My hope is that these designs will serve as a constant visual reminder of our connection with the people who often go unrecognized on the other side of the coffee supply chain, who also just so happen to work with their hands.
Yeah, we have in total 9 different machines and 3 different editions. One is the Harvest edition, and then we have Geometrics edition, the white one, and then there is a Tropical edition.
This is a true member of P series, which means you can really roast in this machine as you do it with the bigger one. So it has the same software, it has the same controls.
The P01 is a special machine because you can do almost everything so that the customer can do something special and special products with the P01.
P01 is a perfect fit for small coffees, or you can use it as a sample roaster in industrial segment, or if you want to make a really special edition coffee in small batches, small quantity, it is perfect fit for that.
It's been a fun process working on this project. I'm very grateful to Probat for including me in once again on this transatlantic collaboration. I'm very excited to see the final results.
And there we are now with the very first edition of the P01. And yes, Jens and Daniela, let's talk a little bit more about the designs and also the campaign. So what was the idea behind the campaign? So the main idea behind the campaign was about letting creativity fly. So we wanted to do something really special, something what we haven't seen until now, and something
Oh.
Sorry, once again. Let's just go for a quick. Okay. It's not working.
So now we see the people behind the camera.
Okay.
Should work in a second.
Okay.
Okay, now we're good to go.
Okay, let's start again. Sorry for the technical issues. I hope it is working now.
This is live.
Should we start from the beginning, or where should we start?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as I said, we wanted to do something really special, something what we haven't seen until now, and what not only suits to the roaster itself, but also pays tribute to the different steps of the whole coffee process from the seed to the cup. So yeah, in general, that was the main idea, and the outcome are 9 different and really beautiful machines from 3 different series, and they each feature unique design hand-painted by David Salinas. So that makes every roaster truly one of a kind. And for example, the Harvest series you can see over here shows where it all begins, shows the elementary process of picking coffee and harvesting. And here we have clear lines and meaningful symbols, and the artwork illustrates the whole process of coffee in a really extraordinary style. And the last series, the tropical series, combines tropical and also floral elements together with some really specialty coffee graphics, and showing also some typical preparation steps. Yeah, and you may ask yourself now, can I buy these beauties? And if yes, when? As Daniela already said, we are going to display the P01 first edition series during our Connecting Markets in September. And after that, we will let you know what will happen with the first edition. And to make the whole design package complete, what else design options do we have for the normal series, the normal edition? So in general, we do have the same packages and design options as for the other P-series roasters, right, Jens?
Exactly. So the main machine body would be black, as with the P-series as well.
Yeah.
And then we do have different design elements.
Yes.
I can show some of them.
Yes.
So all the parts which can be seen here in silver are also available in a brass golden version or in a black chrome version, either smooth or polished or with a kind of structure.
Yeah.
And of course, as we do have with the P-series as well, we do have different handles, oak, mahogany, zebrano, for everything which is, there's a handle here. So the trier, the opener for the lid, and the filling hopper.
Yeah, and we also had, Daniela and me, a different session in April in Cologne, right? Where we showed all the design options and parts and so on. So just check our YouTube channel, and then you can see the session over there. And after this session, you can of course go onto our homepage in our configurator, and then you can let your own creativity fly. And now let's have a closer look what is below the nice hand-painted hoods. For all the techies out there, Jens, can you tell us a little bit more what is inside the roaster?
For sure. So first of all, to start with, what are we talking about here? So Daniela already mentioned it's the P01. So what does P01 mean? So it's the new model of the well-known PROBATINO, so our 1 kilogram per batch roaster. In fact, we are talking about 800 grams to 1.2 kilograms. That's the nominal batch capacity of this roaster. Roasting times between 8 to 20 minutes, something in between, or even longer if you would like to do so, but I suppose most of you are not looking for that long roasting times. And yeah, here we just see the roasting machine itself. As our customers know from the PROBATINO, we will have a separate cyclone standing somewhere here or directly behind or on the right side of the roaster to separate the chaff from the airflow. We do have one fan for both roasting and cooling, so roasting and cooling is always taking place at the same time. We can roast the batch and cool the other batch, so the fan is quite powerful to ensure that cooling takes place in a normal time, 3 to 4 minutes, even quicker, depending on the batch capacity. And yeah, we somehow decided one model, one specification fits all, so we decided to add some nice features to the basic model of the PROBATINO instead of having a basic machine and different models as we have with the P-series roasters. That means each PROBATINO or the P01, so I have to remind myself to say the new name. So the P01, all the machines do come with standard thermocouples for bean temperature, for exhaust air temperature, which is somewhere in the duct here behind, and supply air temperature. That means where the airflow is entering the drum. So there we also have a thermocouple to measure the supply air constantly. Variable drum speed is a standard as well. All the machines do come with a negative pressure monitoring, so that means constantly the negative pressure inside the system is monitored and will also be shown in the software. The cooling tray, quite easy, can just be taken with your hands. So we wave the stirrer, the mixer, because from our perspective there's no need to do so, because there are additional mechanical components, electrical components, which do have somehow wear and tear, which can break. And from our point of view, it's quite easy to do it like this, and then you can dump your coffee quite easily. The machine features an operations panel, of course, with a small display. On this display, we do have the most relevant information: roasting time, product temperature time, rate of rise, and pressure, if I'm not mistaken. And by means of the knob, you can increase and decrease burner power in 1% steps. We will have a talk about the software and the details of the software later on, because this is just the basic model, but it's including in the price. We do have our software, which is known from the P-series as well, which has the same functionalities as the P-series and which has to be loaded on a third-party device like your MacBook, smartphone, iPad, tablet, PC, whatsoever. One big difference compared to the old PROBATINO, the new P01 is just available with electrical heating, so that sounds somehow strange, because also we, for various years, were of the opinion that electrical heating is not the nicest thing, because there was always somehow a lack of flexibility, but this is has now changed. So we do have an electrical heating device. We had this in the pop-up session in
last year,
end of last year, when we presented the P05 with electrical heating. In fact, simplified said, we do have a very big hairdryer, powerful enough to roast the coffee, and which is very quick in reaction. So we have the same flexibility as with gas heating. We can create the same profiles, short roasting times, going temperature, raising temperature, decreasing temperature. Everything is possible with this heating device. And the nice thing, especially in these times, is no use of fossil fuels, no use of gas, no independence from gas, which from our perspective is quite important.
Less
today.
Emissions.
Less emissions, due to the fact that we have no combustion of fossil fuels. The only thing which one has to keep in mind when talking about the electrical heating, we do need three-phase power current. Otherwise, it's not possible. It's not. We of course need some kilowatts to heat up the beans, and this is not possible with your standard 230 or 110 volt single-phase socket. Let's talk about the software a little bit more in detail. As I mentioned, Here at the operations panel, you can just increase or decrease burner power level, and you just get information about the most relevant roasting parameters. But how can I connect a third-party device?
It is pretty easy, to be honest. Really easy. As you already said, you just need a tablet or laptop, for example. And then you can plug. It's more or less a plug-and-play system. So you connect the P01 with the router, and then you can set up the IP address on the tablet or laptop, for example. So it's a web-based software. So it is really like plug-and-play. And as you already said, it is, of course, the roaster comes with the control panel on the side, but it's showing all the needed basic parameters, as you already said. And if you'd like to, you can extend the information from the basic parameters you need to more and deeper information level. For example, the roasting curve, recipes, options you can set up on the roaster itself, and so on. So
in fact, we do have the same controls as some of you possibly already know from the P-series roasters, which is running or displayed on the touch screen, which is next to the machine. It's the same software, so it's the same HMI, same options, same performance, same features. That means every roast done with this little tiny machine is automatically stored. You can log it, you can review it, you can create a recipe from a profile. You can load a profile as a recipe, you can manually re-roast it, you can automatically re-roast it. So various options all included in the price. And I suppose it's quite important to say that the software even features software interfaces to Artisan and Cropstar. So if you are used to one of these third-party software systems, it's quite easy to connect them. Just as Julian said, connect your roaster. There's a network connection here with your router. The router will give the roaster an IP address, and you just have to enter this IP address in either Artisan or Cropstar, and it's done.
Exactly.
That's quite easy. Since we are not roasting today, we prepared a little video showing our colleague Lucas. He's the software engineer, the software creator for the P-series and also for the P01. And we took a video of Lucas roasting on the new P01, and this is the video that we'd like to show now. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video and got a good impression of what the software features, what are the options of the software, and what you can expect from the roaster. And I'm pretty sure that some of you, or even all of you, are somehow interested in how it's getting on now. We are currently in the finalization phase of the bill of materials, the parts description, and all these things. So I do expect that we will be able to issue quotations end of August, beginning of September. As Julian already said, these nice machines will be displayed end of September when we do have our Connecting Markets event. Afterwards, they are somehow for sale. More info about this will follow at a later stage. You can sign up for a newsletter which is specified to all potential interest in the P01, so you will stay updated if you just drop us an email or sign up for the newsletter. And first deliveries, first quarter, maybe the early and second quarter of 2023, because we now have to set up the production, we have to order all the parts, and then, as Daniela said, we are in the foyer of the new manufacturing site. Then the colleagues, the room next door, they will start production of the machines here at our headquarters in Germany. Yeah, so far from my side.
Do we have any questions?
First of all, there is quite some greetings that have been coming in. So we have greetings from Ecuador, from Taiwan, and people really seem to like the roasters and they like the color. So there's already requests for special colors on the new P01 for certain people. And of course, there's also one question that dropped in, if the P01 can be used as a sample roaster. And here, of course, just from experience, what we did with the now old PROBATINO is, of course, you can use it as a sample roaster. It's going to be a little bit tricky with the amount of coffee that you get from the green coffee broker, because usually it's just 100 to 300 grams. And here Jens just said the minimum that you have to fill in is 800 grams. But if you have a bigger drum roaster, of course you can use this roaster as a sample roaster. You can run all your roasting times, you can run all the colors, you can choose for whatever curve you want to have, and then just see the result coming out. And then if you even have one of the new P3 roasters, then you can easily go ahead and exchange recipes and see what happens in the bigger roaster. So yes, it can be used as a sample roaster, and this is always still amazing, even though also the old PROBATINO could do that, but it was a little bit more tricky to actually adjust the recipe to the bigger roaster, but now much easier.
Yeah, the only thing what one should keep in mind is, if you just have 200 grams inside, of course there's less beans touching the thermocouple, so you will get slightly different readings, and it might be somehow tricky to get a sample, but frankly speaking, most of the sample roasters do have comparable issues to really follow up the roast, and why buying 2 units?
Yeah, but this is what I mean with the samples that you get might be a little bit too big, but usually roasteries, they have their own coffee, and then they just can go ahead, try out some new ideas, try out probably some new blends or whatever, and then just simply put it to the bigger machine. So that would be definitely possible. Then there's another question that just came in. Is it the tabletop height the same as the PROBATINO? So
you mean from here to the top?
Yeah, in terms of what I see, it just in terms of height of the roaster,
it's around about 90 centimeters from here to the top, and the length is about 1 meter, and the width is around about 60 centimeters.
This is pretty much comparable with the PROBATINO, and the height of the table itself is, of course, according to your size. So what's the most convenient working height for you? So for me, this would be a little bit too small.
For me, it would be perfect, probably.
and the weight is also nearly the same. So just to complete this, it's around about 94, 95 kilograms. So
roughly 100 kilo.
Yeah, roughly 100 kilo. Yeah.
So for all of you who have the PROBATINO now, it will be quite easy to exchange it for the new P01. So no problem here. There was also another question popping in, asking for how to clean the silver skin out of the roaster. And here, Jens, you already mentioned there will be the cyclone next to it.
I'm the cyclone, either here, here, or here. And then, of course, as you know from the PCS roasters, there's a bin attached to the cyclone where all the chaff is collected, so there are no silver skins in the roaster. And for the cooling tray, just dump them.
And there's the roasters that you see here that we just mentioned. This is the first edition of roasters, and this is really something very special. So after those 9 roasters are gone, they are gone. So if you're looking, and and one of these babies, will be mine. So there will be 8 available for you. And I think I already decided on which one. Yeah, so after those are gone, yeah, I think it will be the same like with the P series. You can have different colors, different whatever you want, but those babies are then gone if they're gone. So sorry for this.
Yeah, just to summarize, as I said before, so we have design parts here, which can be in either silver, brass, golden, or black chrome. The cover, according to the P series as well, similar to the materials at the front, and we can see it here. So this is now kind of white, and this is green. So these parts can be painted in every Arial color you would like to have. Pink, green, brown, red, blue, whatever.
Whatever.
So we are quite flexible.
And the handles of the cooling seat, for example, they will change with the handles you see over here. And also on the side.
Like these.
Yeah, and also on the Cyclone, you mentioned, so they will change completely. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about the Cyclone, we already have the question if the Chef Collector will be the same like with the electric sample roaster.
No. No, it's more comparable to the P5. Yeah. So we don't have the lever that we have for the P series, but we do have, as we already have with the PROBATINO, 2 clamps to connect the bin to the Cyclone. So it's easier to connect it again.
What I see also in addition is that people are very happy to have this roaster being presented as electrical version. And again, getting greetings from Warsaw, so greetings back. And yeah, as for the rest, let me just quickly check. Only electrical version, or will there be a gas version available as well?
Right now, it's just the electrically heated version.
Yeah.
We're going to start with this, and we are quite convinced that there afterwards, as soon as you've tested the roaster, which is of course possible after we have installed them in our redecorated showroom soon, that also you will be convinced that there's no need to build a gas heated machine.
Yeah, as you already said, completely the same flexibility as a gas version. And we are very proud, and our engineers did a really good job in this. Not the same, only the same flexibility, but also the same consistency as a gas version. So that is really special, and I'm also pretty sure that you are convinced when you test it. So yeah.
It's going to be the same like as it was for me when roasting on a P5 electrical version. So in the beginning I was also a bit skeptical, but then quite quickly I was like very convinced that it's just the same as flexible and easy to do as with the gas style roaster. I'm assuming that there will be a chimney that we need, or maybe just an outlet to the outside, because there's a question coming if good ventilation will be enough. So, but still also here we're going to develop smoke, we're going to develop roasting gas, which we have to get to the outside. So, so I hope that answers the questions. And then also, of course, the question which was sure to be coming in is, let's just say it like one of the participants, how much is the fish?
How much is the fish? Pricing has not been fixed yet, but as I said, we are currently revising everything, updating our ERP system, and I suppose within the next 2 weeks we'll be able to share prices as well. Yeah. So prices for the basic machine, prices for different colors, different design elements, and all this stuff. And then either you get in touch with us, our sales team, shop@probat.com, or you contact your local agent, or you sign up, as I said before, for the newsletter, and you will definitely stay updated. Yeah.
Elena is asking single-phase electrical connection. We already said, maybe you joined in a little later, it will be 3-phase. Yeah. And how much power is needed would be another question. Do we know the number?
Yeah, that's a bit tricky to answer, because it sounds quite high, because right now we do have an 11 kilowatt heating element in, but that's just due to the fact that we have to see what's the supplier able to supply, and the next smaller size would have been 5 kilowatts, so this would have been too low. That's why we had to go for the 11 kilowatt, but in fact we just need maximum 7 kilowatts.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
7 kilowatts.
Yeah.
So that means the machines, as I said, three-phase power current, different voltages, different frequencies, so that we can serve all markets worldwide. And the fuse protection is 16 amps, so we can supply these machines with just with a plug.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, already said before, maybe you weren't here then by the time Insung. There will be a configurator where you can actually go ahead and choose the design that you want, same as like you said for the P5 Series 3. So good to hear that you love it. So you can do the same for the new P01 as well. Let's just quickly change if there is another one. That was it so far for the questions.
Just maybe one addition, because I don't know if we have already talking about this. All of them, all of the normal series is handmade here in Germany, Emmerich. So that is pretty important to say, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard Jens mentioning it
Okay.
on a side note, but I'm very happy that you pointed out again, because so far the PROBATINO was the only roaster that was not made here, and now the complete P family is produced here. So
exactly.
this is also one major change that we have. So far there's no more questions. There's of course comments popping in congratulating on the new machine, on the great design. So I think it was a good job that was done.
And as always, if you have more questions, just enter them in the chat, so we will answer them all later on, or just drop us an email, shop@probat.com.
Yeah, and the option, the frequency converter, you said it's not an option with this one, it's included, right?
Jump speed is included. Variable airflow is, however, not available due to the heating element. We had the same with the P05 session. As we do have a blower here, we have to suck somehow here, otherwise we would have a lot of heat underneath the drum or underneath in the lower part of the roaster without getting this heat out. And that's why we cannot do airflow control, variable airflow, but the airflow is quite high, so there's no risk that any roasting gases remain in the drum and might have an impact on the flame.
Mm-hmm. There's a question coming in for the cleaning. Also here, of course, there is parts that need to be cleaned daily. For example, before you get started, you should clean out the little drawer on the side where you could collect pieces that fall through between the drum and the front plate. And for sure also the chaff collector, not only daily, but if you roast all day long, also in between. And as for the rest, the cleaning here will be more or less the same like from the roasters that you already know. So make sure that your pipes get cleaned, that all of the pieces that could get stuck with coffee oil, coffee dirt, that they are cleaned as well, but this does not have to be on a daily basis. Here we always say come up with your own cleaning schedule depending on how much and how dark you roast. Electrical power and heating method we already talked about before. I don't know if you might want to repeat. Otherwise, please have a look at the complete video and then you will find out about what Julian and Jens already talked about for the heating. So it will be found quite easily. Otherwise, I don't know if you would like to repeat just to answer the question.
Okay, so the heating device was the question.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
In fact, it's as I said before, it's a very big hair dryer. So we have a kind of blower with a heating element directly attached, and we, by means of this unit, we provide hot air. So in fact, we do the same as we would do with a gas burner. So where the flame is, where we suck air from the ambience, which is then passing the flame and gets heated up. So then just hot air is going from underneath the roaster or underneath the drum through the drum and transferring the energy to the beans. And we do the same here, but instead of having a flame where we lead the air by, we have a kind of blower, the hair dryer, with a very powerful heating element, and provide hot air, which is then sucked through the system to transfer the energy.
And Tan, just to answer your question quite quickly, because you probably also dropped in a little later, only electrical version, no gas so far. So yeah, therewith I think for the moment we covered the questions.
Yeah.
And yeah, as Jens just said, if there's any more, let us know.
Otherwise, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, and
See you next time.
see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.